our final conversation. The pursuit of justice following acts of violence is a critical step towards healing and restoring order in affected communities. In line with this, the Federal High Court in Abuja has ordered the remand of 9 suspects alleged to have taken part in recent attacks on Yelwata in Benue State and parts of Plateau State. The suspects were arraigned by the Department of State Services on charges bordering on terrorism and unlawful possession of firearms, to which they pleaded not guilty. This development comes as over 300 persons have been displaced and 30 houses destroyed following fresh gunmen attacks in communities across Kwanpan local government area of Plateau State, according to reports. Security personnel have been deployed to the affected areas to restore law and order. 2 stories in one. Now, the DSS arraigning 9 suspects involved in the Benue Plateau killings. I mean, what message is the DSS sending to those who perpetrate mass killings, arraigning these 9 suspects? What message?
I think I'm very, very happy that this is coming up. You know, so anybody planning on, committing crime should know that if you do the crime, justice will come for you. You know, and one of them actually pleaded guilty.
Yes.
You know, so it means that the DSS.
I mean, it's a first.
Yes,
it's a
the
first.
DSS, they were spot on in carrying out their own investigation, and I like this DSS. There's more action, less talk. They go after you. They go after you, pick you up, and then they make sure that they prosecute you. So that is what we need. So all those who are, the criminal elements who are around the country, they should know that the DSS is watching. By the time they gather their intelligence and it's complete, they will pick you up. And this is what Nigerians want.
And pick you up without even firing a shot.
No, of course, there might be 9, but we know that at some point, we'll have more. There will be some people that will be gathering, because some of them were in a particular place, they were following them since that June, 13. Since June 13, they followed some, they picked the 2 people. They know that, okay, this is what they've been doing. Those who have been even bringing arms and ammunition and distributing to criminal gangs, they've been arrested, including police, because some 2 days back, police also arrested, So, but we need this to continue, because this is the only thing that will give Nigerians hope, that knowing that our security agents are working. Because by the time they look at now, they've gone to kill people, displaced 300 people. Yeah. Innocent people who are just maybe in their houses, they don't know what is happening in their village or community, and some people will just go there and then ransack the place and allow. So this should, send a warning to those who feel that they would always, do this crime and then they run away. No matter what you do, provided you are in this land called Nigeria, if you commit any crime, one way or the other, one day, you will face justice.
You will face justice. But talking about justice, let's talk about confidence in the judicial system. Do you think speedy trials and convictions will build public confidence in the justice system?
Yes, I think so. That's why I'm very happy that at last we are getting somewhere. Because part of the problems that we have is that when these criminal elements go to these villages and commit unspeakable atrocities, they get away with it. We don't hear that they were arrested or they were tried or they were brought to justice. And when people know that they can get away with a crime, they will do it.
Absolutely.
They will do it. That's why they keep doing it, going to different communities trying to seize people's lands, trying to do reprisal killings and all that. Because they know that they will get away with it. Nothing will happen. But now this sends a message that, yes, it may take long in coming, but at least we are getting somewhere, that people who committed such atrocities were not only arrested, they're not being tried. So the onus is now on the judiciary to also assist the state by making sure that the trial is speedy enough so that when we see the consequences, when people see consequences of committing crime, at least it will serve as a deterrent to some people. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, the other side of it, in Plateau State, displaced 330 houses razed, you know, and I'm sure this operation would have lasted for hours. I mean, why are the killings continuing? Why are we having this kind of killing, despite all the military operations going on in that region?
I'm surprised.
Why?
I'm really, really surprised that this happened. Yeah, because I know they have Operation Safe Haven in Plateau, and they've been relative peace, for a very long time in Plateau. There was a time they celebrated Christmas in Plateau.
Yes,
and so all of a sudden, I don't know what just, changed. And that is why the government or those who are involved in securing Plateau should begin to look at what went wrong and then re-strategize. Because the killing is just getting so much. People are getting displaced. Before that, we don't even hear of, IDPs in Plateau. Now we'll start hearing IDPs. It was only in Benue that we know that, they have IDP camps. But now, are we going to now add Plateau to it? So they need to re-strategize. The security agents need to re-strategize. If it's anything that relates to, reprisal attacks, they should be able to know. And I know that when it comes to Plateau, particularly Plateau and Benue, it's usually about land. Issues about either elder and elder farmers clashes. And the president, in his wisdom, I know, created a ministry of livestock.
Exactly.
So that ministry has been open enough to see how it can accommodate everybody. And people, I believe people should be able to key into that idea and see how peace can come in. I think the ministry can also come in and see how they can resolve, if at all, it is related to that.
Farmer head.
If at all it's related to that. But if it is the other one that we land issue, they want to dominate, they want to do, that is where the security agents they need to go there and see how they can secure people. People cannot be displaced in their own land or in their own country.
Exactly.
When it is not natural disaster. So the government has to find a solution to it. The governor is there, he has to find a solution. It's not every time you go there, you say, okay, we'll deal with them. No, we have talked about state police now. Governors should begin to look at, on how they can do neighborhood watch, vigilante, trying to get vigilantes and equipping them so that once these things or people are hearing or seeing people that are strange, they should be able to send signals to the security agents to see how they can, arrest people.
Exactly.
Because if we do not do that, I don't know. These numbers that we are talking about will keep increasing.
We don't want that. I mean, now that 30 houses were razed, 300 persons displaced. This is a humanitarian crisis.
Exactly.
Now, what immediate relief and shelter should the government be providing, to those affected by this?
It is the same thing. What happened is just a continuation of what's been happening there. And why it happened is because these criminal elements usually go to villages that are in far-flung places and are isolated. So it is easy for them. It is not possible anywhere in the world for the security outfits to be everywhere. It is not possible. So what these criminal elements are doing is just to go to areas where they know that they are isolated and even the terrain may be very challenging. Maybe the roads, the place may not even be accessible by cars and all that. So it is easy for them to do those things, commit those atrocities and move ahead. It's the same thing that has been happening all over again. And what I would suggest is that the government should do the things that we've been saying. One, they should be proactive. They cannot, it is impossible, it is important for them to mobilize people in those communities to be able to form vigilante groups, just something like the JTF, to be able to protect the communities as the first line of defense. Then there must be a rapid response force that will be stationed in different parts of the state that can react immediately to such attacks, so that when you have a structure in place, the people that are involved, the vigilantes involved in the first line of defense,
yes,
can inform the authorities, and they will be able to now dispatch more forces to go there so that they won't have time to be able to do those things. It's important for them that you must mobilize people to be able to form vigilante groups that will protect these communities. You will form it among the communities themselves. There must be a first line of defense. What is happening is that these criminal elements just identify where they want to go to, and they just do whatever they like there. And there's no resistance of any kind.
I mean, they spend hours.
We cannot continue to do that. So it is important for them to organize vigilante groups, have a rapid response force, and then put more resources on ground to be able to defend. That is the job of the state. Then the security outfit from the federal government can now also join that, and then we can reduce this thing at least to the barest minimum.
I mean, Mayor has actually given his own thought on a strategy, but if you're also to, you know, put in your own 2 kobo, 2 cents, you know, what long-term strategy do you think should be employed to end the culture of reprisal, mass killings, especially in Plateau and Benue?
I think the major should be dialogue. People, conversations have to continue. You have to keep talking. If, for instance, it's something about, you know, cattle farmers, you know, crisis, it's dialogue. If you need land and you need to graze, or your cattle, you need to graze your cattle, you should be able to talk to the people and not go there and lord over them. That is it. You know, so the government will need to just keep talking to those who are involved in it or those who are causing crisis. And just like Mayor said, I think the vigilante thing, this is the period that we need. The first topic we talked about was about state police.
State police, yes.
It is not, we are not bringing anybody outside to come and do this.
These are the indigents.
Yes, the
people
indigents
in the
there
area
are the ones that are going to police, you know, their own area. I know even in Lagos, there was a time that before we started having gates in virtually all the streets, there was a time people used to do the turn by turn now.
Yes,
OPC that is doing it now.
Yes, that's what gave back to OPC.
OPC, you understand? Before we started
how was got involved in security matters, yes.
Because security is a collective responsibility.
It's for everybody.
It's a collective responsibility.
So if people do not want to judge, that is when the government can decide to say, okay, fine, it's now time for us to deal with these people. Because we cannot afford to start allowing people to be killed, houses burnt. There was a day I was seeing that of the BKO's report on Yelwata.
Yelwata, yes.
You know, child bodies, and we don't
I mean, but in Benue states, most of the time we hear that they come into Benue and they run into Nasarawa.
You understand?
Well,
so
yes, I think the governors
saying because they identify vulnerable communities, go there. And when they perpetrate those things, they move from there. Because if they stay there, they know that security forces will come and meet them there.
But I think the governors of both states should be having a very tough conversation.
All the governors in the North Central, you know, because we are talking about Plateau. I think they need to now sit down to strategize on how they can help
each other, yes.
Because this one is not like you're running into another border outside the country.
So North Central,
exactly.
Now. Just like you saw the Northeast, you know, meeting the president and saying, this is what we have. These are wish lists. They should also come up with something and say, Mr. President, we have sat down, this is our idea, and this is how we can secure our people. I think the president will not wish them away. He will look at it and see how he can also help them.
Well, it's a fine place for us to leave it. Beautiful conversation. Mayor Akimpelu, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Azuko James, as always.
Thank you for having me.
We dragged you again right to the table. Thank you so much. And that's it on Journalist Hangout today.